We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com with Lee down in the Fungeon. Woohoo, Fungeon! Sorry, I'm actually just ate a big sub, so if you hear me breathing heavily, that's why.
Yeah, we just came back from BK, so.
Oh, that's why you seemed a little lethargic.
Yeah.
Good old Burger King.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's been a couple weeks at least to doing a follow-up, because I didn't actually know Lee had finished the bridge. He finished it before Adepticon, so we'll be showing that sneak preview. You ready?
Yep.
Haha. All right, somebody who paused will be able to take a look at it in very blurry form. But we'll look at that. We'll set it all up here because I want to show off some of this other stuff first that he's done. Some of it's pretty straightforward, although it looks really good now that it's all painted. And then some interesting custom kits that we grabbed from stuff that you actually had lying around, but Pegasus hobby stuff. And now that I see it, I want more of them. And so, anyways, so we're gonna look at the bridge in a second, but we'll start off with this. So, what do we got here?
We have the Gardens of Moor.
Or as they're now called, Sigmarite Mausoleum?
Yeah, look at the box.
Yeah, if you're looking on the Games Workshop website, this is the Sigmarite Mausoleum. And how many boxes have you assembled and at least started to paint?
This is one.
This is one?
Yeah.
But how many boxes were there?
3.
3, and we've actually done all of those, right? So, because they're actually double kits, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because they're 2 gardens.
Yeah.
So they're really good value for the amount of stuff that you're getting out of it. And they're designed, in the box, they show them all like packed together with all the fences close, which I don't think you'll ever want to use them that way because you'd have no room for the miniatures. And really they take up, I wanted to do so many because I wanted to be able to have the ability to have an entire table that was one large cemetery. And I think now that I see the number of stuff on each of them, that will be easy.
Wait.
So you didn't really do any modifications to these, so why don't
these are just out of the box painted.
And so how did you paint them? Let's walk through. Because we got a really cool scheme here with the green roofs. So,
I basically followed the instructions on the box.
Ooh, all right.
I actually did that.
It's not very often that you do that.
No, it's like, I don't know. What's the box say? So it's Reaper something? I don't know.
The instructions told you to use Reaper paint?
No.
Oh, okay.
Dark Reaper.
Oh, Dark Reaper. I actually thought you meant Reaper paint. I'm like, Games Workshop is cross-promoting now.
Vallejo, so.
Yeah, Vallejo roofs, Reaper sides. So, sorry, go ahead. Go over the colors.
The base coat is black, and then I dry brush Dark Reaper over it, and then Administratum gray, and that's a stonework. So.
That's it.
That's
just
it.
the 3 levels, one of them being the base coat.
Yeah.
And then you picked out the skulls with what color?
That's Flayed One Flesh.
Flayed One Flesh, otherwise known as Bone White. And we got our brass. Why don't you remind us again how you do the tarnished brass look, or whatever you want to say?
That's Sybarite green with dry brush gold on it.
So yeah, just to remind you that he did it. He painted it green and dry brushed it gold. Because my assumption would be to paint it gold and to then use some sort of wash.
Yeah, they have a wash, a technical wash.
Yeah,
outside.
Yeah. So you could do that as well, but you like it this way because it's faster.
Yeah.
And it achieves pretty much the same results.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. And then our leaves, or our flowers, I should say. I'm sorry, the lighting's not great in here.
Warbush green with Bealtown wash, and Gene Stealer purple with purple wash.
Oh, Gene Stealer purple. How nice. And then the copper here.
That's Warplock bronze with a technical, let's see what it's called. Ryza rust.
Now remember, when you're painting things like this, the level of detail you get to is totally up to you. In this case, Lee did not have a year to paint every last detail, because these things have a lot of details on them. Like, you look closely, and there's a skull there. There's a wreath around the skull. There's a little knocker underneath it. Yeah. There's all the little spikes. There's the different parts of the roof with all the little rivets and the spikes on top. You got the gargoyles. Like, you could, and the twin-tailed comets. Cool. I didn't notice that before. And so you could go on and on for the detail. So what's the reason that you decided to do the flowers and not other details? What made you feel that was enough?
The flowers on the other kits I painted.
Oh, okay, because he already...
Like a year and a half ago, I painted up one of the...
The ones that we already have, that we've been using in battle reports, they're already that way.
I didn't realize you were going to get more, so I painted the flowers.
Well, to be honest, if you didn't paint the flowers on the fence, it would look weird.
Yeah.
because they're not just like along the ground ready to be washed over. So all I'm trying to say is, because I've seen this in when I've done painting partner commissions or painting partner program ones where I show people stuff that people have painted for me. They're like, oh, that's not very high quality. It's like, well, I didn't ask for it to be. I know there's more details, but you also have to consider cost. And so, of course, it'd be cool. But really, when they get on camera, you're going to be looking at it like this. And maybe some closer shots with a model in front of it. And so, yes, the detail wouldn't go unnoticed, but the majority of it would. And so when you look at it from this distance, you see you've got the contrasting colors. I think that's the most important part, is having the heavy contrast. And that's why like the copper works really well, or the brass, whatever you want to call that, to the grays, because you got the gray and then the reddish brown, and then the green works well as an offset to that. So at a distance. And then, of course, the white skulls pop right from there.
There's skulls everywhere.
Skulls everywhere. Well, it is a cemetery, right? Isn't that what people do in cemeteries? Don't they take
the heads off bodies they're about to bury? And
yeah.
Well,
it's like, we're going to honor this guy by jabbing his head into the side of this wall. So yes, or into the spikes of defense. Oh yeah, it's pretty macabre. So really, these tombs are all full of headless people because where does the skulls come from? So I wonder if there's actually stuff in the lore as to why there are skulls and everything.
Probably.
But maybe they honor their dead, or maybe it's to ward off demons. Who knows? And then these kits right here there's two separate kits, or are they the walls?
They're actually part of the same kit.
So that's the walls and fences kit, which on their website didn't look that impressive. But now that I see them in person, like they're simple, but they look a lot nicer than I thought they would. So you got a wooden fence and thatching fence going on here, and this was a stone wall with a wood gate. Same idea. You can pick out more detail than this, but I didn't want Lee to spend forever and ever on them.
Forever and ever and ever?
And then, as if that wasn't enough, there's more.
There's more down here. There's more
and there's more. And there's more. Yay! You're not tired of these yet, are you?
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
Not me.
Now, a couple more things will show off. This, you had said, hey, I got some Pegasus hobby kits lying around. You want me to make some buildings? And I'm like, sure.
Yep.
And now that I've seen them, like when I pulled them out, I actually thought, I'm like, whoa, are these Games Workshop things? And then I realized, no, this is the Pegasus. I recognize it because we used to use these. And you decided to fill in the windows.
Yeah.
So if we look behind the scenes, actually, this one's a bad example. This one's better. Let's find a light. There we go. Get it right under the light. There we go. So what did you use to cover the windows?
Plastic card.
Just plastic card. Really anything like a piece of paper would even work there.
But in hindsight, I probably should have done it after I painted it.
Oh, you did it before you painted it? Yeah. So then you had a hard time not hitting it with the brush?
Yeah.
Yeah, because why not, right? Just paint it black and stick it on afterwards.
Yeah. Exactly.
So pro tip, do it after. So you filled in everything with the plastic card, and then you actually custom made the roof.
Yeah.
How did you do that? You have some cardboard there, obviously.
Yeah, I have a pile of corrugated cardboard.
So just from all these different boxes?
No, it's actually I bought it.
Oh, you actually bought specific. Why buy it and not use it from the boxes?
Because these are double ply.
Right.
And you have to pull one off. But these are just... Come here. These are single ply.
And do you find that it's hard to get the one ply off?
It's impossible.
Yeah. So I know people will wet the one side and then peel it off.
Yeah, but...
Doesn't give you... This is pretty cheap stuff.
Yeah.
If you're on a super budget, you can... What I've seen people do is they'll take the side of the box like this and they'll dip one side in water, or at least wet it, and then it just peels off. But then, you're not getting it perfect, because you can still get the rest wet and it can warp it and all that. Okay, so walk us through it then. How did you build the roof? Because we have the plastic part and then we have the cardboard part.
Yeah, this is the plastic part right here. And this roof is relatively easy. All I did was I put a wooden stick in between and then cut out 2 pieces of it.
So I'm going to just show the light so they can see it. Wooden stick, 2 pieces of cardboard, voila.
And then I cut out a strip and folded it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. What does Pegasus have for the roof that you didn't like?
They don't have roofs.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Oh, because they're meant to be playable. Like you can reach in. Like you're supposed to build ruins out of these, I think. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, so these don't come with it. And then you have the same idea for this one.
Don't know if you can see it.
Well, we go in the light. Yeah, you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Same principle.
Now you see how it works. So I'll probably actually buy some more of those kits. Get you to build a few more of those, because that could be an interesting table. And then lastly, we got the War Squire Citadel. This is just standard from the kit. Same paint scheme. I asked you to actually keep the stone kind of a weird different color because it actually turns out it is from the realm of heaven. The Sigmar hurled down the Sigmarite or whatever pieces of malice, and then they built citadels around them to scry into the future. So same color scheme for that, as you can see, which looks really good. Tons of detail on this as well that could go into.
Yeah, you can spend a year just picking out.
Yeah, you can create some really cool. Yeah, it all comes apart too, which is nice. Because you could actually use that as a separate piece of scenery if you wanted to. And for storage too. That's nice. Okay, so that's all this stuff. Currently, you still have the Arcane Ruins to do. Haven't touched those in a while yet because you've been working on all this. Let's take a look at the bridge. And the bridge. This is what people were most interested in. So we were waiting for a few more parts before you could finish it. That's why we did.
For this part.
Like literally just a couple more.
That one. And that's it.
So we'd already shown you this, but now the bridge is done. And so just take a look at that now that it's complete. Got all these cool little flames. We got the bronze statues on the ends. You can see how and baseless, which I like.
Yeah.
Because then it'll work on more boards that way. Nice, big, and impressive. And your next plan is to do, or eventually. I don't think I'm going to say next. Got lots of other things to do first. A big realm gate there.
I got the hoop for it.
How would you? Okay, so yeah, walk us through what you think that you're going to do for that.
Well, I'm going to have to build some kind of a base for it, obviously.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is just take pieces of styrofoam and just thread them on, put plaster.
Like almost like they're bricks.
Yeah, but not so they're uneven. And then plaster them and put stuff. I'm actually going to take. I have some of these left. And some pillar bits I'm going to add to the thing. So it's going to be pretty basic, but it's going to be cool.
And then how about the inside of it to make it look like a realm gate?
I'm not sure.
To make it look like it's glow or
thinking
like it could be you could have it turned off, so it's like boom, it's not on, like an empty Stargate kind of thing.
Yeah,
but it would be cool.
Do like tendrils and stuff.
Yeah, that could be cool.
I'm thinking about doing experiments with hot glue. Just put it down on a piece of paper and draw them in, have it cure, turn it over, do again. But I'm not sure.
Or a piece of plastic art in the middle, and then like do stuff on top of that.
Yeah.
Between hot glue and green stuff or whatever. Sculpt some cool looking thing. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of pictures online to go for inspiration as well for what the realm gates might look like. So I just want a closer look here, so you can see how all the pieces come together. And then the huge concussors, or actually no, what are those guys? That's the Dracoths. But what are the guy on top? Are those Celestants?
I think so, yeah.
Because their hammers are pretty important. So yeah, I think those are 2 Lord Celestants on Dracoths. Well, how many do you need, really, all right? Yeah. So when you get them in several boxes with other stuff, yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I think I still have a couple.
It's too bad that you can't reverse the mold, right?
Yeah, have them facing each other.
And have them face. That would be so cool. But, we'll have to settle for that, I guess.
Yeah. Lame.
Yeah, lame. So so that's the completed part. It looks super cool right now. It'll look ridiculously cool once there's the realm gate done for it as well. It'll be a great backdrop for an Age of Sigmar game. I was actually one of my first game. I was almost wanting to look for this one to play it, to use it, but then
no, you want
just
to finish.
What's that?
You want to finish more. Stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So no, it'll be good. It'll be good once it's on a table of a bunch of other stuff. Then it'll look awesome. So there you have it. There's the completed. Once again, more details are always possible. You can go on forever. When you think about like the Crystal Brush entries or the Golden Demon entries, how long people keep adding more details. Like Chris shows me the miniature he enters, and I'm like, that looks great. And he's like, yeah, I wish I could have done more to it. But to me, it looks complete. But there's always more details. So when you look at a project this, you always have to, like if it was a personal project of yours and you work on it for 6 months, obviously you'll just keep adding more and more detail. But here we have to balance.
You have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, you got to balance it.
I mean, I could have picked out the skeletons and had these a different color. And
sure, all this. Yeah.
But then again, if you look at like buildings in nature, as it were,
right,
they're pretty boring.
Yeah, they're pretty boring or pretty ugly.
Yeah, but I actually think it's pretty cool. That stuff is the same color, just fades into it.
Well, and like I said, there's going to be models on top.
Yeah.
There's going to be terrain around it. So there's all sorts of other things to accent it. So you just have to make sure you pick out your most important accents.
Yeah.
And then that's where you start. And then you just keep going until you want to be done. And so...
And the flames do add color to it.
Yes. So. Yes, definitely. So there is the completed bridge. Going for one last pan through. And you'll, of course, get to see this in battle reports. Using all sorts of Games Workshop parts, and then all sorts of styrofoam. And all sorts of other parts, too. To make a nice, big, epic piece of terrain. I like that there's still the Games Workshop parts, though, because they have so much detail in them.
Oh, yeah.
It really helps to bring it together. Okay, well, stay tuned for more. We'll keep going with this. We actually soon are going to be having a rather massive project, that Warhammer 40k table, that Games Workshop is actually partnering with us, in a sense. I don't want to make it sound bigger than it is in the sense of the partnership. We're going to be making a whole video series on making this and getting some articles on Warhammer community. And yeah, and it's going to be a huge 40k board, a void port of sorts, and we'll be talking about that in another video. Not soonish, like in the next month probably, as we put together a bajillion kits to make an epic 6x4 table of 40k terrain.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty big.
It's pretty big. Pretty awesome. I'm sure you'll be tired of that one by the end, but...
I was actually talking to Chris earlier today, and I think I enjoy doing 40k terrain more than I do fantasy.
Why is that, do you think?
I don't know. It's just, it's relatable.
Is it because it's not as organic? It's more like artificial structures?
And it's not all ruins.
Right.
Because most of these kits were ruins.
Oh, are you talking about like 40k, the terrain kits, or just the fact that you like, or that you like the 40k look better than Age of Sigmar?
No, I'm talking about working with the kits.
Okay, because they have way more kits for the 40k, and those kits are much more varied, and they have like full buildings, and a lot of them are intercompatible and all that kind of stuff. Whereas we're still kind of in the early stages for Age of Sigmar terrain.
Yeah, they have like four or five kits.
Yeah, not very many. They're slowly coming out with more, and they do look great, whatever they do come out with. But yeah, 40k definitely lets you do much grander scale things. So I could see why you'd like that better, because it'll look pretty awesome. Because this you had to supplement mostly with not Games Workshop stuff.
Yeah, it's mostly plastic card.
And styrofoam and stuff.
And
yeah, which there will be plenty of on this new table as well.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you'll see what we mean when we actually get to it. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, Lee. And we'll be back in the Fungeon later. Happy wargaming.